You ever seen your whole life explode in a single dinner party? I have. And let me tell you, it wasn't the shouting or the broken glass that did it. It was the way she sat there smiling, sipping her wine, as her brothers dragged me across the hardwood floor like some criminal they'd caught red-handed. Cheater, her mother screamed. Her father? Threw the first punch. I still taste the copper from that split lip. And my wife, Haley, just watched. Let me rewind. Because none of this started with a Betrayal affair. No flirty texts. No late-night disappearances on my end. I was clean. Loyal. The kind of guy who turns down happy hour invites just to be home in time for dinner. The kind who sends flowers on a random Tuesday because she once said Tuesdays feel invisible. And yet, somehow, I was the one being accused of cheating. Haley stormed into our bedroom 2 weeks ago, holding up my phone like it was dripping with blood. Who the hell is Natalie? She demanded. Natalie was my project coordinator. We had exchanged exactly 3 texts that week. One about a rescheduled Zoom call. One about sending files. And one where she reminded me that Friday was casual dress day at the office. That's it. She wrote, "Don't forget to wear something easy to rip off," Haley shrieked. I blinked. What? She shoved the phone in my face. Except it didn't say that. What it did say was, "Don't forget Friday's casual wear. We're roasting the boss." Haley had edited the screenshot. I know it now. But back then, I was too shocked to even consider that possibility. She wasn't looking for an explanation. She wanted blood. "You filthy liar," she hissed. I knew it. I knew it the moment you stopped calling me baby in the morning. I should have walked away then. I should have packed a bag and gone to stay with my buddy Marcus like he'd offered. But I stayed. Like an idiot. Trying to make sense of her madness. But it only got worse. Her voice got louder. Her accusations more creative. And then, she called her family. "They're coming," she said coldly. "They want to see what kind of trash I married." I laughed. Nervously. "You're kidding, right?" She didn't answer. Just adjusted her lipstick in the mirror and walked out of the room. 20 minutes later, her 2 brothers, her father, and even her aunt, who once hugged me after my promotion, barged in like a SWAT team. "You disrespect our daughter," her father roared. "You disrespect this whole family." That's when the punches came. That's when they wrecked everything I had built. Laptops? Smashed. My signed Michael Jordan rookie card? Torn. My reputation? About to be dragged through the dirt. I sat there, bleeding from the mouth, staring up at the woman I had married. The woman who once told me I made her feel safe in a world full of wolves. And what did she do? She poured herself a glass of Chardonnay and said, "You made your bed, now lie in it." That night, I slept on the floor of my garage. Not because I had nowhere else to go, but because I needed time to process the insanity. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just kept asking one question over and over. Why? And then, 2 days later, the truth walked right into my inbox. And it made my blood go cold. It was a forwarded email from someone anonymous. No name, no subject. Just a zip file and a single line. "She's the one you should have been watching." I scanned it for viruses, paranoid, but something in my gut told me it was real. I clicked. Inside? A dozen videos. Photos. Screenshots. Timestamped. Labeled. Every one of them was a dagger straight to the spine. Haley, my wife. In a hotel room. Different dates. Different outfits. Same man. His name was Ethan. Ethan Blake. Her old college friend who she'd bumped into a few months ago and reconnected with for brunch. I remember how she smiled when she told me that. Like it was some innocent accident. I even joked and said, "As long as he's not taller than me." She laughed. He was taller. And she wasn't just brunching with him. The videos showed hotel keycards. Security cam footage of them entering elevators together late at night. One clip, burned into my brain, showed her wearing the blue dress I bought her for our anniversary, walking barefoot into his room while laughing into her phone. She had sent me a text that night. "Work dinner running late. Love you." I didn't move for 10 minutes. Just stared at the screen. My hand was shaking, but it wasn't fear, it was fury. She lied. Boldly. Repeatedly. And then played victim while throwing me to the wolves. My first instinct was to barge into the house and drag her into the street, screaming every truth I had just seen. But no, I wasn't going to do that. I had been humiliated once. Not again. So I waited. I printed out everything. All the proof. Created a folder titled Haley's Greatest Hits. And I invited her whole family over for dinner. "You want to fix this?" I asked her sweetly. "Let's get your parents and siblings together. I want to apologize." She didn't even question it. Oh, so now you admit guilt? She smirked. I bit my tongue. I let her think she'd won. She even wore red lipstick that night, the one she only wore when she wanted to look powerful. I made her favorite lasagna, laid out fresh wine glasses, set the table like we were hosting Christmas. Her family arrived, all smug and upright, ready to hear me grovel. They didn't get apologies. They got the truth. One by one, I laid the photos on the table. I played the videos. I read her messages out loud. God, Ethan, you're so much more fun than him. He doesn't even touch me anymore. He's always tired or busy. Can't wait to see you again. Her father's face went pale. Her brother's froze. Haley? She went silent, mouth open, staring. Do you still want me to apologize? I asked calmly. She stood up, screamed that it was fake, called me a psycho, accused me of hacking her phone and photoshopping it all to gaslight her. And that's when her mother said, enough. Her dad got up and left without a word. Her brothers followed. And she? She collapsed into the chair like someone had pulled her spine out. When everyone was gone, she finally looked at me and whispered, "Why did you do this?" I almost laughed. I did this? You accused me of cheating. Had your family beat me like a criminal. Tried to ruin me. And you ask why I did this. She reached for my arm. I moved away. Wait, maybe we can fix this. Maybe it's not too late. Her voice cracked. Her eyes begged. But I saw it, the flicker of fear. Not guilt. Not remorse. Fear. Because she knew. She had just lost control. And I wasn't her little obedient husband anymore. She didn't know it yet, but I had already filed the papers that morning. And I had a surprise planned for tomorrow that would make her face even whiter. The next morning, I made sure she was still asleep before slipping out. Her mascara was smudged from whatever fake crying she had done after I locked myself in the guest room. She didn't even hear the door close. I had a meeting with my attorney at 9 a.m. sharp. Are you sure you want to proceed this way? He asked, flipping through the documents. It's aggressive. That's the point, I replied. We finalized the divorce papers. I requested an emergency injunction to protect my business assets, because the house was in both our names, but my company wasn't. I'd been smart enough to keep it separate. Still, she tried to dig her claws in before. Tried to brand herself as my partner in success, even though she'd never worked a single day in the office. I wasn't going to give her the chance to spin the narrative again. But I didn't stop there. The last piece of the puzzle? A carefully written email with all the attachments, the videos, the messages, the photos sent anonymously to her job. And more importantly, to Ethan's employer. Why? Because it turns out Mr. Blake worked in a family-oriented private Christian school. Principal. Married. With 2 daughters. Let that sink in. I sent the email, then deleted the burner account I'd created just for this purpose. Later that evening, I returned home to the same chaos I expected. Haley was pacing the living room like a caged animal. Ethan's school called him in, she said the moment I walked in. I just shrugged. Did you do this? She rushed toward me, eyes wide, fists clenched like she thought she could shake the truth out of me. I didn't answer. Instead, I placed the divorce papers on the kitchen counter. Sign these. She stared at them like they were written in fire. You're joking. I'm not. After everything we've been through, she started, but I cut her off. You mean everything I went through? You accusing me of cheating. Your family attacking me like I was some criminal. You destroying my name, and then screwing around behind my back while pretending to be the victim. She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. I didn't deserve this, I said, my voice quiet but cold. I wasn't perfect, but I didn't lie. I didn't betray. And I didn't fake text messages to frame you. But you? You wanted to ruin me. And now that it's backfired, you want peace. Tears filled her eyes, but they didn't move me. Not anymore. I walked upstairs without another word. 2 hours later, she came knocking on my door. I'll do anything, she whispered through the wood. Just, don't leave me. I'll make it up to you. Her voice was shaky. I waited a few seconds before answering. You already did, I said. She was quiet. You made me realize what kind of woman you really are. And that's worth more than any fake apology. Then I went to bed. And that night, I slept like a man who finally remembered who the hell he was. The next morning, she was gone. No note. No message. Just her side of the closet stripped clean and a few broken hangers left behind like a crime scene. I didn't panic. I didn't wonder where she went. In fact, I smiled. Because now it was quiet. Peaceful. Like the air had been vacuumed clean of her poison. But I wasn't stupid. I knew this wasn't over. 2 days later, she was back. banging on the front door at 11 p.m. like some hysterical ex from a bad movie. I opened it just enough to see her face lit by the porch light. Pale, red eyes, smudged lipstick. The kind of mess that used to make me feel sympathy. Not anymore. "I need to talk," she said. "You don't live here. Please, just listen." For 5 minutes. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. 5. She took a deep breath like she was preparing for war. "Ethan's wife found out," she said. "She filed for divorce. He got fired. Everything's falling apart, and it's all because you couldn't let things go." I blinked slowly. "I couldn't let it go?" "Don't act like you're innocent," she snapped. "You humiliated me in front of my entire family." I had to laugh. It came out hard and sharp. "You mean the family that beat me up over lies you created?" She tried to reach for my hand. I pulled it back. "I lost everything," she said, eyes shimmering. "My family's embarrassed. Ethan's gone. My job's dangling by a thread." "Good." She flinched. "You destroyed everything you had." "I just made sure the truth showed up in time to watch it burn." "You're heartless," she whispered. "No," I said. "I just finally matched your energy." She folded her arms, trying to keep her voice steady. "I want to come home. I'm willing to work on this. I made mistakes, big ones. But I still love you. And I know deep down, you love me too." There was a time that line might have worked, when I was still stupid enough to believe she just got lost in life. But not anymore. "You didn't just cheat, Haley," I said. "You engineered my destruction. You weaponized your family. You twisted the narrative so hard I almost believed it myself. That's not love. That's poison with perfume." She stood there, trembling. Then I gave her the final blow. "I sold the house." Her breath caught. "What?" "I sold it. Closed today. New owners move in next week. You don't belong here anymore. Neither do I." You're serious?" "As death." She staggered back, blinking, like she'd just been slapped by the universe. I walked past her, down the steps, toward my car. She didn't follow. She couldn't move. Before I opened the door, I turned around. "By the way," I said, "when you told everyone I cheated, they believed you instantly. Not because I acted guilty, but because they saw you. And they knew. If anyone was capable of betrayal, it was never me." Then I left her standing there in the cold. Alone. Exactly how she wanted it. And exactly how she deserved to feel. I didn't go to a hotel. I didn't crash on a friend's couch. I went straight to the condo I'd been quietly paying off for 6 months, the place she never knew about. My escape plan before I even realized I'd need one. Funny how the gut always knows before the mind catches up. It was small, minimalist, clean, no perfume on the pillows, no tension clinging to the walls, just peace. I dropped my bag on the floor and exhaled like I hadn't breathed in weeks. The first night there, I didn't sleep. I just sat on the balcony, watching the city lights flicker while my phone buzzed nonstop on the table next to me. 25 missed calls. 12 voicemails. For blocked number attempts. I didn't listen to a single one. By morning, the silence felt like armor. That week, I moved fast. I got the rest of my things out of the old house, sent the keys to the realtor, and unfollowed, blocked, and deleted anything that tied me to her. My lawyer sent her the finalized divorce agreement with no room for negotiation. She sent back a single text. "So this is it?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. A day later, I got a knock at my office door. My assistant poked her head in. There's a woman out front. Says she's your wife." "Ex-wife," I corrected. "And tell her I'm not available." She came back 5 minutes later, wide-eyed. She's crying. Loud. It's kinda uncomfortable. I got up, walked to the glass doors. She was there in the lobby, arms crossed, mascara streaked down her cheeks like war paint. She saw me and mouthed something. I turned and walked away. She screamed after me. Security escorted her out. Later that night, she sent a voice memo. Her voice was trembling, desperate. "I don't care about the money. I don't care about the condo or the house. I miss you. I miss us. Please, let me come home. Please don't leave me alone in this." I didn't think it would go this far. That's the thing about liars. They always underestimate how far the truth will go when it finally breaks loose. She thought she was playing a game of control. She didn't realize I was playing for peace. That weekend, I took a trip. Flew to Denver. Rented a cabin. Left my phone in the drawer. I drank whiskey by the fire. Wrote out everything I'd been holding in, letters I'd never sent. All the things I wish I could scream, all the pain she'd buried in me, I poured onto the page until my hand cramped. And then I burned them. Every page. Watched the flames erase her voice from my head. When I got back, there was one final envelope waiting at my door. No return address. Inside, a letter in her handwriting. Long rambling. Half apology, half manipulation. The last line read, "If you ever love someone again, I hope she treats you better than I did. But I hope she never gets as much of you as I did." I laughed, because she was right. No one would ever get that version of me again. The blind, loyal, trusting fool? He died the day she made up that lie about Natalie. And the man who stood in his place? He wasn't bitter. He was reborn. I didn't talk about it for a while. Not to friends, not even to Marcus, who practically begged me for details. I wasn't ready. Not because I was still hurting, honestly. The pain had dulled to a cold, clean scar, but because I didn't want to share space in my mind with her anymore. But the universe doesn't let you bury things that easily. One night, maybe 3 months after the dust settled, I ran into her. At a grocery store of all places. Late. Almost closing. I was grabbing frozen meals and a bottle of red wine. She was in the produce aisle, looking lost, holding a half-bruised avocado like it might fix her life. Our eyes met. She blinked, took a shaky breath, then smiled like none of it had happened. "Hey," she said, voice small. I gave her a polite nod. Nothing more. "You look good," she added. I didn't answer. Just grabbed what I needed and turned down another aisle. But she followed. "I heard you moved downtown," she said, still chasing a conversation I never invited. "Is it nice?" I turned slowly. "Why are you talking to me?" She flinched. "I just thought maybe. Enough time has passed." I shook my head. "You didn't lose me because time passed. You lost me because you lied, destroyed everything, then tried to crawl back and once your fantasy collapsed." She didn't speak. I stepped closer. Quietly. "You turned my name into dirt. You called me a cheater. You let your family hurt me. And now that the people who helped you burn everything down are gone, you're back at my door like nothing happened." Her bottom lip trembled. She looked at the floor. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry," she whispered. I sighed. "You're not sorry. You're alone." She didn't follow me this time. And I didn't look back. I went home that night and poured a glass of wine. Sat on the balcony of my condo and thought about how quiet my life had become. Peaceful, even in its emptiness. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't chasing closure. I didn't need revenge. She had given me something I didn't even know I needed. A brutal awakening. Because here's what they don't tell you about betrayal. It doesn't just destroy your heart. It destroys your delusion. And once that illusion is gone, once the mask cracks and the performance ends, what you're left with is truth. Ugly, sharp, and permanent. But also freeing. These days, I live simple. I laugh more. I don't beg for love. I don't entertain liars. I don't explain myself to anyone who wouldn't bleed for me. The scars? They're there. But they don't ache anymore. They remind me that I survived a woman who tried to bury me in the rubble of her own guilt. And I climbed out stronger. Alone, but not broken. Not even close. I got the final message from her a few weeks later. It was a photo of us. From years ago. At a beach in Santa Monica. I was holding her hand, laughing at something she said. She captioned it. "I miss who we used to be." I stared at it for a long time. We looked happy. But I remembered that day. I remembered she spent the entire car ride arguing with her sister, took it out on me, made a scene at dinner, and didn't say a single kind word until I bought her that overpriced bracelet from the boardwalk. We weren't happy. I was trying to make her happy. There's a difference. I didn't respond. Instead, I deleted the message, emptied the trash, and blocked her number for the last time. I stepped outside, into the chill of the evening, and sat down in the quiet. No more phone buzzing. No more knots in my stomach. No more second-guessing every word, every glance, every silence at the dinner table. Just air. Just sky. People ask me now if I'd ever consider getting married again. If I've healed. If I trust women. And I tell them this. I don't regret loving her. I regret not loving myself sooner. I regret giving loyalty to someone who saw it as leverage. But I also learned something priceless. If someone tries to destroy your character without a single ounce of proof, just know they were projecting their own sins onto you. They scream cheater to cover their betrayal. They throw punches to distract from their shame. And when the truth finally crawls out from the wreckage, they ask for forgiveness not because they're sorry, but because they have nowhere else to go. My advice? Don't open the door. Let them sit in the ruins they built. And walk away with your head high, your peace intact, and your heart protected. Because sometimes the greatest revenge is living well, unbothered. and completely unreachable.